Hey everybody, Shawn here from theautomationblog.com, and in this episode of the Automation Podcast, I sit down with Diego Mesen from Costa Rica. He's the product manager for a product called vNode, and this product is an IoT gateway to connect your industrial control systems to the cloud. So with that said, let's learn about vNode. Diego, thank you for coming on the Automation Podcast and volunteering to tell us all about vNode. It sounded very interesting when we connected, and so I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this for us.
Thank you very much, Shawn. I really appreciate it to be here, sharing my knowledge and sharing our product, our solutions. I'm Diego Mesen. I'm product manager for vNode Automation Platform based on all Europe, Latin America, and also South America. I have been working with this kind of solutions since, 8 or 9 years ago. And we work for Vector Business Automation, which is the distributor for vNode Automation Platform. It's a company that has actually 15 years of experience developing, providing any kind of industrial automation solutions, and right now including the IoT solution, which is an IoT gateway called, in this case, vNode Automation Platform. So thank you very much for your introduction. So let's start talking about what is vNode Automation, which it is an industrial IoT gateway. I don't know if you are pretty much familiarized with industrial IoT gateway right now. It is based on Industry 4.0, which it is the new technology that will be leading the full connectivity environments. Our IoT gateway and even a standard IoT gateway will collect information from any kind of device and data source, such as PLCs, such as DCS, RTUs, any kind of sensors, any kind of devices, or even any kind of applications such as OPC servers, DA, UAs, and it will link the full information coming from that plant floor devices and link to any IT environment, such as SCADAs, HMIs, cloud environments. We can provide the full information. We can deliver the information to any kind of ERP, such as SAP too, and we can link to any kind of application, right? By using any kind of protocol. In this case, what is the core of the full solution of vNode platform? Okay, it is pretty much like a plug and play application, which means that there's anything that you can do by installing the software and configuring it. You don't need to start making any kind of programming, which is really good because we can optimize on time and money actually by providing our customers or our full end customers the full platform to only install and configure it by an easy way actually. And there's also a feature that makes like a core of the platform, that it is like a multi-platform in OS, which means that you can install vNode Automation Platform even on Windows or Linux too, or we can do it also in ARM environments, right? We can provide a store and forward built-in architecture that will make reliable the full platform for any kind of data loss, right? We compress the data in gzip format, and also everything is based on object-oriented configuration on JavaScript environment development, right? So the full minimum requirements that we need, also we are going to talk about through during the full conversation. And also there's like an affordable pricing that we'll be talking about later, okay? So we collect information from any kind of environments, such as a petrochemical, pharmaceutical. We can take data from any kind of manufacturer or any kind of transport environment, or even nuclear plants, solar plants, energy, any kind of environments we can take data. We use the remote vNode platform that will be located under any kind of plant floor devices under each environment. And we take that data coming from any kind of protocol, such as Modbus, if you are using Siemens S7, if you are using Allen Bradley Control Logic, Compact Logics, if you are using Almbrand PLCs, if you are using any kind of Schneider RTU, or any kind of other vendors specific for different controllers or sensors or devices, we can take that data, we can pull that data, and we can send it back to a central instance of vNode, which will be collecting the data, which will be taking the data, which will be managing the data, and will deliver it to any kind of application. If you are using like, I don't know, like WinCC, you will be providing the information over an OPC. If you are using, I don't know, like an SQL database to log the information for any kind of reports or analytics, you will be taking that data and inserting on SQL tables automatically, and you will be providing the full historical information to that end application, okay? And so much more you also can, in this case, because we are an IoT gateway, we can provide natively communication to any cloud environment, such as AWS, if you are working with Google Core IoT, if you are working with Azure IoT Hub, or any other broker over MQTT protocol, we can do it, okay? There's another part in this case to visualize the information that are coming from central vNode, which is the API or REST API applications that are like, I don't know, like applications on the web based on HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, we can provide over our REST API server the full communication to those applications. And also, there's another kind of solution that we can provide over different products.
So I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
It sounds like vNode has the capability to talk to multiple types of PLCs and control systems, as well as to provide data to SCADA systems via OPC, as well as to insert data directly into a SQL database using insert instructions. Is that correct?
No, yeah, actually it's correct. We can take data from any kind of PLC for any kind of vendor. Actually, vNode comes with natively Modbus communication and also Siemens communication and DMP3 protocol communication directly. Okay, we can provide communication to those kind of protocols, and for other kind of PLCs that are like specific drivers or custom or in this case like specific vendors such as Allen Bradley or Omron or Mitsubishi or Yokogawa, we can use any kind of OPC server, okay, to connect through it. Right?
Okay. Good to know.
So once we do this, we take that data and we can send it back to any kind of application in different protocols, which is part of the core of vNode automation platform. In this case, we use ODBC protocol. I don't know if you already know it. It's part of the protocol of an SQL database. In this case, we can provide native connections over this protocol by sending or inserting information or data under tables that will be created automatically by the vNode Central, or in this case, vNode platform, under the SQL engine database, all right? The same thing as we use SCADAs or HMIs. Actually, like 99% of the SCADAs or HMIs use or has or comes with an OPC client, even it will be like DA or HDA or even UA, all right, or A&E. So we can provide the full communication to those SCADAs or HMIs by using the OPC UA server that comes with vNode, in this case, to provide the full communication, all right?
All right, that makes sense.
Okay, so actually, too, sometimes, in this case, HMIs or even SCADAs, sometimes we'll collect information coming from Modbus directly. We can provide information as a Modbus server. We have been working on the slave Modbus that we already have. So we can provide data that is coming from OPC or any other protocols, and we can translate over Modbus protocol and send it back to any kind of application like a master, right? Okay, so in the next screen, you will be seeing that there's any kind of different kind of projects, okay? We know that there's a lot of environmental industries in which vNode can be really applied or can really fit under the project requirements of any kind of environment, all right? So there's a different data acquisition, like water management, like renewable energy plants, like ships and vessels, monitoring, any kind of power substations or smart cities, gas pipelines or pharmaceutical, okay? So we found that those kind of environments in which we apply our product have in this case different needs, and they share that kind of needs. In this case, I don't know, like uh, they have like, I don't know, like wireless sensors. They use like 3G technology to communicate. They use GPRS connections. Mostly of those environments needs like a solution that allows them to not lose any kind of data. So the store and forward, which is part of the feature of vNode, will be really, really good for that kind of environments. And also there's like a minimum requirement of hardware that people are looking for. So vNode fits really well there because it is pretty much designed to communicate with different locations, stable locations or sites, right? We can integrate different sites in just one environment to centralize the full communication and to minimize, in this case, the hardware requirements, and also to minimize the cost, in this case, by providing like an store and forward solution that allows to store the data once the communication is brought, in this case, and it will lock the data under the buffer internally, and it will retrieve it again once the communication is established, right? So this kind of projects, we are really open to any other kind of projects, okay? But we are really, really, really interested on work in that kind of solutions in the same line, all right? And once you take the data, once you pull the information coming from your PLC, coming from any kind of OPC server or any kind of sensor, you will have actually the action to decide what kind of different configurations you want to make to that data. Okay, if you need to create some alarms, if you need to log information in a historian like a MongoDB, or even if you need to like make any kind of calculations, advanced calculation to that data to present it to the final application with the full calculated, we can do it with the full different models of vNode that comes with, right? So once we take the data, we can process the data, we can manage the data, and we can deliver the data in different protocols. We use actually a lot of OPC UA technology, which is part of our core 2, which is part of our of the full native communication, and also which is part of the full industry 4.0 that involves the whole communication environment, right? So we use OPC UA to transfer the data, but there's another different protocols that we can use too. So, okay, and based on that, if we go back to the first part of the communication part, in which we work like as an input communication, we have kind of OEMs manufacturers partnership that we have been already created. We work with Schneider with the power inverters of Santrex, with the pharmaceutical part with Marquesini machines, and also we do have any kind of driver to communicate with Mettler Toledo scales, industrial scales. So we have been working with this kind of partnership, providing different drivers that communicate directly to that kind of machines or that kind of devices. And we provide a cheaper solution to communicate with it. And we also provide actually a new way for that kind of vendors to, in this case, to allow the full communication to those devices, and it will provide them like a full, in this case, freedom to communicate to any kind of applications by using vNode automation platform, okay? In the vNode strength that we have been working, that we have been talking about, we already talked about the reliability. In this case, for the store and forward application, okay, we talk about the high security. In this case, we are going to talk about later more. Easy integration and configuration. And also we have been talking about the minimum hardware requirements. But I just want to talk about, in this case, first of all, about the reliability, in this case, based on the store and forward functionality, okay? I don't know if you know the full part of store and forward or even hub and spoke architecture, which means that once the information is being collapsed or the communication have been, I don't know, like closed for any kind of internet reasons or connection reasons, there is like a way to store the data on the source once the communication has been broken, okay? The full information will be logging on a buffer application based on the vNode, and once the communication will reestablish, the full information will be go through again to the central environment with any kind of data loss, including the same timestamp, including the data, and you will be assuring that the full information will be uh, approaching to your end application with with no kind of issues in this case, and the full information will be provided to it. Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the questions. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say. I think one of the questions that comes up with the store and forward, when you lose connection between the remote node and the central node, and going back to products like Rascal and Transaction Manager, is how long or how much, how long can the network be down? How much can I store locally before it becomes a problem? Do you have any benchmarks for your customers on like if the connection goes down, how long do they have before they start losing data?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, vNode, its own buffer platform internally, will collect information based on the hardware in which it is already installed. Okay, and thanks to the data compression based on gzip algorithm, the full information, in this case, vNode can buffer information for like 60 days. With no inconvenience in this case for data transfer, or with no inconvenience in this case for the full connection. So if you have a glitch in the connection, I don't know, and it will take like 3 days, you will be logging during those 3 days on the buffer of the source of vNode automation platform. And once those 3 days finish and the full communication reestablished, then those 3 days of data will be prompting again to the central environment. So it will depend on the hardware it will be in which vNode is installed. It will depend also on the connection, but our solution will be providing a buffer environment over 60 days. It's like 2 months. I don't know, kind of.
Excellent.
Okay, we can if you have more space on disk over the environment in which you are installing vNode, you can perform that kind of time and increase, 180 days, for example. All right. It will depend on the hardware. Okay. So based on that, the full information will be secure too. If you are transmitting information over any kind of protocol, if you are transmitting information that is coming from any kind of PLCs or DCS or any kind of machine or sensor, that information will be secured, provided by an encryption of SSL protocol. We use digital certificate, in this case based by vNode automation platform, which we can create our own certificates by making links between vNodes, and also we use that kind of security protocols that comes with the protocols we are going to use to deliver the information. For example, we use SAS tokens. We use digital certificate. We use firewall friendly as part of our security core. So we can assure that the information will be already encrypted and will be really secure for that kind of transactions or on communication on the environment. So once we, in this case, we make reliable our communication, once we make secure our communication, there is another part of integration and configuration that will be really easy. Our core in our platform is based on web configuration, web development, based on JavaScript. It is not an SDK, so everything is already set it up, and we just need to install and configure, okay? But our object-oriented configuration is based on web. So once you install the platform of vNode on your computer, even Linux or Windows or ARM environments, you will be accessing to the full platform by using a web browser, right? Any kind of web browser like Google Chrome, like Mozilla, like Internet Explorer, and you will be accessing to the full platform over there, okay? So you need to hit the IP address on the port of the configuration, the URL, and you will open the full web GUI configurator, in which you will be making any kind of changing of parameters for communication, enabling or enabling in this case any kind of models to communicate to any kind of devices or to send information. Okay, and in this case, it's pretty much like a good way nowadays to use, because some of our clients have been working with vNode since a lot of time, and their plants actually are closed based on the COVID, due to the COVID. So they have been working from their homes, and they have been using our web GUI configurator from its own home to start working to the full configuration of the vNode platform that are on the plant. Okay, it's pretty much like a good way to start working with it. You don't need to stop working with any of your communication or projects actually. Okay, and it is pretty much scalability. They have a lot of scalability in this case. It's pretty much 100% of efficient and in small local systems, or even in biggest systems in this case. We grow with your application, or even or your environment actually. So as we have been developed vNode platforms for many sites, it will say you that the full platform will be growing up once you are growing with your own environment application. If you need to add more sites, more locations to your own application, we can use vNode to implement there. We can use the same environment to adjust the full environment that you have of the implementation of your plant actually. Okay, we have a lot of connectivity architecture that we can provide to you, that we can show you, that will be assuring that the full communications will be making really well. Okay, and there's another feature that is really important, that is the kind of, we don't have any kind of tag limitations based on the scalability. If you add more PLCs, more DCS, more devices, or you don't have any kind of tag limitations or connections to those devices. Okay, so you can compare with other specific vendors. Sometimes they can bill you based on any kind of on per tag. I don't know, but right now we do not use this kind of model of pricing model. We use the pricing model of models. So right, that in this case will help the full integrators to do this with any kind of no restriction. Okay, so going back to the hardware requirements that are really interesting. vNode has in this case, I'm not just calling like light installation. It's pretty much quickly to install. And also we can use, I'm sorry, I had a call. We can use different hardware configurations, but the minimal that we can provide to work with is the one that is like an ARM7 processor, Intel Atom or AMD Geo processor with 1 gigahertz. We use the minimal of 512 megabytes of RAM memory. All right, and we can select any kind, in this case, of OS. In this case, Windows or Linux. If we are using like XP, Windows Server 2016, Windows 10, or even if you are using like Linux, both that in this case people are using really good of Linux, a lot of Linux. They use like Ubuntu, CentOS, Debian, CentOS, or even we have the full solution for vNode that it will be on a hardware version that we already provide. Okay, so those are the kind of hardware in which we use vNode. This kind of hardware we use to implement the full solution. There are ARM processors that come in under there, and each one can perform different actions. Okay, so it will depend on the requirement, it will depend on the environment, or it will depend on the architecture of the customer. We recommend to use different of each one out there. Okay, and by finishing this part, the data acquisition is one of the most important part of vNode, because it will allow you to know into which kind of devices or protocols we can connect through. We can take data from any kind of OPC server, such as Matrix and OPC, Kepware, Toolbox Optic, any kind of Matrix of OPC server. We can collect information coming from TXT or CSV or XML files. Sometimes people need to take that data in any kind of format, okay? We use OPC UA in this case to communicate to any kind of OPC UA server, because we have an OPC UA client too that collects information in this kind of technology. We collect information on the REST API applications, because we are a REST API client too. Okay, and actually, under Siemens Modbus, and also as I already talked to you, Siemens and Modbus that are the native communication that we have. We can add databases as part of our data source. We can take data from any kind of database in real time, and we can use it for any kind of purposes. All right.
So I see you have Modbus TCP and Modbus RTU. For Siemens, are we talking Profinet and Profibus, both? Or just Profinet?
Yeah, actually, we use Profinet or Profibus. Based on that, which it is the full extract of the protocol. What it is, I don't know, like driving under the Profinet. The Profinet is the EASE on TCP/IP protocol, which it is the TCP/IP protocol for Siemens, in this case, controllers. So we can connect over that kind of networks.
Perfect.
Okay. And over this kind of different Modbus devices, we use Modbus TCP/IP, Modbus RTU. Okay. So we have no restriction in this case for any kind of protocols like that. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So in the other part, once we take the data, we deliver it in different protocols. We deliver it directly to pipe from OSISOP. We use a different solution for that kind. Pipe OSISOP use any kind of files, a different kind of set of files in which vNode can send it back to it. We use OPC UA to deliver the information with different specification, in this case with certificates, digital certificate, any kind of security. We deliver information using REST API application. We deliver it under ODBC to any kind of SQL, MySQL, or any kind of database. We have our own historian, which is really good. Nowadays, we use MongoDB as part of IoT environment for historian. MongoDB is a non-SQL database, which will be logging information in files, not in tables. So it has an optimized algorithms for any kind of queries that we make, and it will be really quickly to answer to our queries, okay? And we also can deliver information in different formats, CSV, XML, also in TXT. And you see that there's one part missing. In this case, the part most important is the cloud environment, because we know that sometimes people are looking for this. We can deliver information to any kind of broker over the protocol of MQTT, okay, and machine to machine. So we actually deliver to the most important in the world, like Amazon Web Services, Azure IoT, or even Google Core IoT, and other custom brokers. We can deliver the full information to it by creating its own MQTT client, right? So by finishing, this is kind of architecture. You will be seeing with us. We take the data from any kind of devices, no matter which kind of protocol they use. We can take the data and we can send it and pull it back and send it back to the central vNode. In this case, the store and forward will be activated right there, which will allow you to, in this case, the full communication, closes between central and remote. The remote will be collecting information in its buffer, and once the communication restarts, you will send it back to the central, okay? So the full pricing model, the full licensing model, it is based on models, okay? Models per computer, per instance in which we will be installing vNode. So if you are looking on the remote sites, you will be seeing that there's like a PLC Siemens, there's an inverter for Modbus or Santrex, there is an OPC server. You will be using like three models: the model that connects to PLC Siemens, the model that connects to Modbus protocol, and the other one that connects to OPC server 2. In the central part node, you will be seeing that you will be delivering data to any kind of application. You are going to need one model per application you are going to send information, okay? There's one license that will allows the communication to those kind of solutions, okay? And that's it. I think that's kind of different solutions that we have been talking about. This is our reference. We have a lot of references. We put this one like an example, but we have been working in Spain, in USA, in Portugal. A lot of kind of wind farm implementation of photovoltaic plant. Okay, we use Modbus, we use SQL, we use OPC to implement the full solution on that kind of environments. Okay, so I think that this is kind of our product. This is pretty much what we do and how the platform works too. So let me know if you have any kind of questions, please.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So I think we understand the product now. I guess the two questions would be, do you have a link to where you show how to set it up, like how easy it is to set it up? Can you share that with us? And can you share like some pricing? If somebody they wanted to test it out with one PLC and one database, is there any kind of pricing where somebody could put it in, evaluate
Yeah,
it, and
yeah,
imagine if it got really big, it'd be really expensive. But how do they get started? I mean, do you have any information on that?
yeah. Of course. Actually, we have a link. Okay, there is the vNode automation webpage. Okay, in which you will be under the downloads part right here. You will be downloading the full environment of vNode automation platform. Okay. In this case, there's one installer per operating system. We use Windows for 64 and 86. We use Linux Debian 9, Linux Debian 6, 7, and 8, CentOS, and Linux ARM for embedded devices.
Okay,
So
excellent.
once you install it, you can start testing it, all right? And also the pricing model that you can see here. This is the price list that you can go over here, and the price lists are here with the full prices. Okay.
Okay, so if anybody wants to see the prices,
Let me put it right here. I'm sorry.
Yep. No,
Okay.
that's great.
This is
That's
the
great.
remote
So
price, and this is the central price. So people can access here. People can start downloading, and also there is a really important part. Once you start downloading the software and once you're testing it, you have support. In this case, assistance over telephone, over remote session, over Skype, over WhatsApp. If you are also even evaluating the full solution, where you can start asking for support if you need any kind of help. The full name, the full contact information from us are here, right down. You can be right down here.
Yep.
Regional offices, our email accounts, and also our phone numbers. Okay, you can start contacting us.
I think you answered all my questions, Diego. Thank you so much for putting this together.
Thank you very much, Shawn. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Well, I hope you found that interesting. If you'd like to know more about vNode, feel free to contact Diego directly or one of those contacts that he just showed at the end of his presentation. And if you'd like to see more IoT and IIoT stuff, please let me know over at theautomationblog.com. And with that, I want to thank all our patrons who support our work here on the channel and the blog. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for subscribing and liking our videos. And with that, I just want to wish you all a very safe, happy, and healthy week. And until next time, my friends, peace.